Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Have you ever found yourself, wrestling with some dense government document, maybe like a local ordinance or a municipal code or one of those really complex public policy PDFs? It often feels like you practically need a law degree just to figure out what applies to you, right? I mean, these documents can be incredibly difficult for the general public to navigate.
Yeah, and the sources we looked at for this deep dive, they really lay out a clear challenge here. Government transparency, accessibility of public legal documents. These things are absolutely critical, for building trust and engagement with citizens. But, well, the current methods often fall pretty significantly short. So today we're diving into something I think is really exciting. It's called the Policy Navigator, AI for building a public policy chat engine on Snowflake. And the mission here, it sounds groundbreaking, frankly. It aims to empower you, the citizen, to just, well, effortlessly query and understand local laws, regulations, government policies, all using large language models, LLMs, integrated within a Snowflake data ecosystem.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is that core purpose to create this AI-powered interface, right? Where citizens can just ask questions in natural, everyday language and get back clear, accurate, and this is key, explainable answers. Answers that are directly derived from the actual legal and policy documents. So it's not just a search engine finding keywords. It's about making really complex legal information genuinely understandable, actionable even for everyone.
Okay, so we get the why. That makes a lot of sense. But the really clever part is how they've actually engineered this. How do you make that seamless experience happen? We're about to explore that, the kind of ingenious design that brings this vision to life, how it uses Snowflake as its sort of central engine, and crucially, ensures those responses are always rooted in actual public records. Get ready for some insightful connections here. So at its heart, this Policy Navigator project, it's really all about transforming how citizens interact with public policy. It aims to tear down those barriers of jargon and complexity, making it possible for pretty much anyone to understand the laws that affect their daily lives just by asking a question.
Exactly. And that accessibility, it relies heavily on robust LLM integration. You need those advanced language models. They're key to understanding the citizen queries in the first place and then formulating clear responses. But the real magic, I'd say, and the core to building trust is ensuring accuracy. And that's where this technique, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG methodology, becomes absolutely indispensable. It's a technique that ensures every single answer generated is directly grounded in and verifiable by the original source documents. It's basically how the system avoids, making things up.
Right, so it's not just generating text, it's actually proving its work as it goes. That feels like a huge step forward for AI in public service. Okay, so for the system to ground its answers in these documents, first it needs to get those documents in. How does the project manage that massive task, ingesting all those legal PDFs, public documents?
Yeah, that's where the automation comes in, thankfully. The project automates the scraping and ingestion of all those public documents. We're talking legal acts, policy circulars, municipal codes, you name it, directly into Snowflake. And actually, one of the initial challenges was just the sheer variety of document formats you encounter. Some are nice, crisp digital PDFs, but others, they're scanned images of old paper documents. It's almost like a digital archaeological dig sometimes, just getting them prepped.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a good point about the real-world messiness. So once they're ingested, what happens to the text inside these documents? How does it become searchable in this intelligent way you're describing?
Well, once ingested, the process gets quite sophisticated. You've got optical character recognition, OCR, and natural language processing, NLP. These are used to extract the text, which then gets stored in structured tables within Snowflake, along with all the important metadata. But here's where it gets really interesting for the search part. Unique numerical representations, called embeddings, are generated from chunks of these documents. You can kind of think of embeddings as turning complex human language into a language computers can understand better, basically numbers representing the meaning of words and phrases. This makes the text incredibly searchable, not just for keywords, but for meaning.
Okay, so embeddings, turning language into numbers that capture meaning. So when I asked my natural language question, how does the system actually find the right answers within all these millions of numbers and documents?
Right, that's where the vector indexing and the retrieval layer come into play. When a user asks a question through the chat interface, which, by the way, can be built really nicely using Streamlit right on Snowflake, the system doesn't just do a simple keyword search. Instead, it uses vector similarity. Imagine, like, every piece of text, and your question too, as a point in this vast multidimensional space. The system then rapidly finds the document chunks whose points are closest or most similar in meaning to your question's point, even if they use totally different words. It's a very smart way to connect your question to precisely relevant information.
Ah, okay. So it's matching the meaning of my question to the meaning locked inside the documents, not just looking for identical words. That makes sense. And once those relevant chunks are found, that's when the LLM comes in to craft the answers, all right?
Precisely. The LLM then generates a grounded answer based only on those retrieved chunks of text, and this is absolutely vital for auditability and trust. The response will include direct document references and evidence. Often, you'll get clickable links straight back to the original PDFs where the information came from. This gives you both transparency and traceability, which, is absolutely critical for any public service or legal context.
That direct link back to the source document. That really seems like the missing piece for truly building public trust in AI-generated information, doesn't it? Is that one of the core differentiators that makes this whole approach so compelling?
Absolutely. Without that direct traceability, especially when you're dealing with legal stuff or policy matters, an AI-generated answer would be, well, largely untrustworthy. It's what elevates this from just a simple chatbot to a potentially verifiable information source. And underpinning all of this, the source material we reviewed really highlights Snowflake's pivotal role as the central platform.
Okay, tell us more about that. How exactly does Snowflake become the central hub for a system like this? It sounds like it's doing a lot.
Well, Snowflake is really positioned as the complete platform for this entire operation. From the very beginning, the data ingestion, all the way through processing, and even the LLM integration itself, it handles, well, pretty much everything. The automated pulling in of new documents using tools like Snowpipe for continuous data loading, or using Snowpark for more complex data processing right within Snowflake itself. All the extracted text, the metadata, it's all securely stored there. Plus, it provides these direct avenues to integrate with the LLMs, whether that's through something like Snowflake Cortex, which offers built-in AI services and models, or by connecting out to external providers like OpenAI.
So yeah, it's definitely not just a database in this context. It's acting like an active engine for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And beyond just storage and integration, it seems like Snowflake is also critical for the more advanced pieces like generating those embeddings you mentioned, and maybe orchestrating the AI's whole thought process.
Exactly right. Python and Snowpark are used extensively for that data ingestion, the text extraction, and generating those crucial embeddings we talked about, making sure the data is perfectly prepped for the LLM. And for the AI thought process you mentioned, we often call it prompt orchestration, you can design a pretty sophisticated workflow. So instead of just giving the AI one big instruction, you can guide it through a series of steps. Perhaps first it classifies your question type, then it summarizes the relevant sections it found, and then it formulates a precise, grounded answer. This chaining of prompts is really vital for getting accurate and controlled AI outputs, and that can be managed through things like Snowflake native apps or Streamlit app integration. And critically for any public service, Snowflake's built-in robust security features like role-based access control and detailed audit logging ensure secure and compliant data handling through the entire process. That's non-negotiable.
Okay, so let's bring it back. What does all this mean for you listening? We've seen how this policy navigator concept aims to transform these dense, often completely inaccessible legal documents into clear, understandable, and actionable information. Just imagine asking a question in plain English, like, what are the specific property tax rules for homeowners in Ward 7? And getting back a clear, grounded answer, complete with direct references, maybe even links right back to the original legal documents. That feels powerful.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, this system really showcases how advanced LLMs think models from OpenAI or maybe Snowflake's own Arctic model can be leveraged for grounded response generation. And it underscores how critical methodologies like RAG Retrieval-Augmented Generation are to ensure those answers are pulled directly and verifiably from the source material, no guessing. It also really highlights how a unified, robust platform like Snowflake, with its capabilities for seamless data ingestion, powerful vector indexing for that efficient similarity search we discussed, and strong governance features, can underpin such a vital public service. It's effectively democratizing access to critical information.
This project, it really isn't just a fascinating technical deep dive, is it? It genuinely showcases the powerful potential for AI and these cloud data platforms to truly enhance civic engagement and transparency, like fundamentally change it. So here's something to think about. If a system like this can be built to make complex municipal codes and public policies effortlessly understandable, what other areas of dense public-facing information could benefit from this exact same approach? How might this shape the future of information access? And maybe more importantly, what new possibilities does it open up for you to engage with and understand the world around you, far beyond just legal documents?